everybody, how's it hanging? How's it happen? You guys know this is Kevin from the Chord Progression Podcast, sponsored by Dark Fusion Systems, the best in your custom computer build needs for gaming, creative, whatever it might be. You can get $100 off your entire build. Use the code CPPOD at checkout anytime during your build at darkfusionsystems.com. Link description of the podcast. Go check them out. Thank you, guys. That type of feature presentation. We've put so much stock in the Canadian hardcore scene. Now we're going to go a little bit into a different side of the Canadian scene over there in Ontario with the band No Exceptions. Their brand new EP, To Whom It May Concern, released the day we recorded this episode on December 1st. And we go deep in their origin story and just how great of a band, how great of these guys are, and how important band chemistry is to everything. Oh yeah, let's go! Yeah. Well, ladies and boys and girls, listeners of the Chord Progression Podcast. Lately, we've been diving so heavily into the Canadian hardcore scene. We found another band from Canada that necessarily isn't in the hardcore scene, but their music is, what I'll say is, damn good. They recently released an EP called To Whom It May Concern. By the time you listen to this, it's already going to be out. But the day we're recording this, literally, it came out this day. Today, they're recording this December 1st. And these guys already threw me off of the podcast because they sang happy birthday to me before we got started. And I was not expecting that. I did not know that they would possibly know that. So I got to give them major props for that. Just got to say that. So let's give some major props to these guys who are Jet, Tommy, Drew, and Sam from the band No Exception to the podcast. So gentlemen, welcome to the Chord Progression Podcast.
Thanks for having us. Thank you for having us.
Thanks for being on, guys. Well, I'm not sure how many people really know your band right now. So one thing I like to do in this case is I want to hear like your band's origin story, like full on superhero intro movie into who you guys are, how it came about. If it's something crazy where, you know, you guys were formed from the ashes, were built up from clay, like this magical clay, and have superpowers of great music, like that's the kind of shit I want to hear. So I'll let you guys tell your origin story to everybody so we can just be like, you know, as invested as every Phase 1 Marvel movie ever.
Sounds good. Radioactive spider bit me, and then I granted. No, I'm just kidding. No spider bit me. I actually started the band with my younger brother at a pretty young age, and so we we play a lot of shows. We started building up the confidence. We had a lot of good idols. My idol growing up was always Billy Joe Armstrong from Green Day. Always tried to be like him. Stole my mom's makeup a lot in the earlier days. So. She got pretty pissed off at me during that lifespan, but whatever. Hopefully one day it'll be worth it, and I'll be able to buy her all the eyeliner that I ever stole all back. But so we started off as a young age. It used to be called Lifeline actually, and we had some pretty cool opportunities playing for shows called Rock and Wheel, and it was like a local charity show in our hometown, Mount Bridges. So we got our start kind of there, and just kind of got on the bills and met some great people. And then he kind of joined the band pretty right before Rock and Wheel, our Sammy there. And we played some great shows growing up, and then shortly we had some falling outs of some members and some falling ins, and kind of came to this lineup change. But Drew kind of joined recently. Not too long ago. Yeah, over a year ago. But actually, my brother was the original drummer, and he actually passed away last year. So, and then this guy, this lovely man here named Jet, he joined the band, and I will tell a great story about him when we first met. When we had the audition tapes for him to join and be in the band, the first thing he ever said to me when he was walking through the doors, he's like, just so you know, man, I'm not here to ever replace your brother, and I'm only here to honor him and kind of do my part and be my own person too in this band. But you don't ever worry about ever replacing my brother, I guess. And so yeah, it meant a lot to me, and I knew from there, I'm like, God damn it, you better be good at the drums, because I do not want to say no to you right now. So it was he's a good guy, and so yeah, and then that's kind of where the form is right now, and we've just been trying to get as many shows as we can and just record the EP and see how far this thing can kind of go. So hopefully that was what you were kind of looking for. I'm not the greatest explainer, but yeah, that's the history of the band.
Hey, it doesn't matter if you're the greatest explainer. I mean, the fact that you opened up with that you were bitten by a radioactive spider, the only thing you were missing out is that after you were bitten by a radioactive spider before forming the band, you decided to try your hand out at cage wrestling and fought against a fake Macho Man Randy Savage called Bonesaw, and you beat him in 2 minutes and only got paid $100 because you only went 2 minutes instead of 3. So that's the only thing you missed out on.
Well, I'm not the person behind the mask, okay?
He's not Spider-Man. He's the human spider, guys. The man spider, whatever Frank Reynolds from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia did for the costume. He wasn't the Spider-Man. He was man spider. That's what we have here with no exceptions.
Hell yeah.
Just some funny stuff. But that is pretty much kind of like what I would hope for in an origin story for a band, because it's great that you started out with your brother as well, started this out, tried to get everything going, stealing all of your mom's makeup because you were very heavily connected with Green Day in your younger years. Always want to be like Billy Joe Armstrong. Essentially, you could probably call yourself like Jesus of Suburbia at that point too with what you were doing. Hopefully at some point in the future, or hopefully for Christmas this year, you can just get your mom a shit ton of makeup. Be like, I'm starting to try and make up for what I did when I was younger. Please accept it.
I'm working on it right now, saving up some money, getting some eyeliner, give it back to her. She deserves it. So
is it all the life savings?
Yeah, a little bit, but it's okay. We'll manage.
Mom, I'm spending all my life savings on eyeliner for you as a way to pay you back for when I was 14. Or whatever age it was, who knows at this point. But then, of course, as time goes on, as any band has seen, I mean, very rarely do you see a band that when they start with their original lineup, they stay with that original lineup from its conception. I can only think of like a very, very, very small handful that have started with the original lineup and are still going with that. And it's very, very small. So it's nothing new. And it's just because you think about it as time goes on, as you guys grow up, things change, perspectives change, ideas on what you want to do in life change. So everything starts to flow through. And over time, you are going to end up getting to a point where you're going to get the right pieces in place for people that want to be in the band, people that are perfectly connected with what you guys are doing. The chemistry is there and everything works. And I love what you said about Jet as well when it came to coming in as a new drummer. He's not here to replace your brother, but he's here to honor his memory, and he's here to become his own person while keeping your brother in mind too and keeping that spirit alive. Thankfully, he was good enough to not have to say no to. But it kind of reminds me a lot of what Architects had to go through after Tom Searle's death, because there's a lot of things that he had done with the band. A lot of the writing was from him. And how do you replace something like that? You don't, and you try and honor that memory. You try and, create your own self through the band, but you try and make sure that the memory of that is always honored. And if you look back at Architects, you listen to that Holy Hell album that came out with in 2018, it sounds like this is vintage Architects, and it's honoring Tom Searle every step of the way, but then it also helps them transition to the next phase of the band as well without taking away from what Tom had contributed. So that mindset coming from Jet, coming into the band here, is the perfect mindset to have. And that's why the chemistry between you guys, I mean, it's already radiant enough. It just fits, and it makes so much sense hearing that story.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. I don't really know what to say to that. Thank you very much, man.
I you would say thank you very much. I think that pretty much says it all at this point.
Well, good. Well, thank you very much.
Then I got to jump right to Jet on this one specifically. So when it came to joining the band, especially with that, was there any sort of added weight that you felt in terms of having to make sure that you lived up to the expectations that you were setting for yourself? Or was there any concern about what was going on? Or were you just full confidence in this yeah, I'm going to honor his memory as best as possible while also becoming my own person within the band. We're going to do this right. What was your mindset around that?
Well, it was, I'm not going to lie. It was definitely a little jarring at first because I knew how much No Exceptions had meant to so they're originally from Mount Bridges, which is little small town, half hour out of London kind of thing. And so I knew that No Exceptions was loved in Mount Bridges, and everyone really knew each other, and was it was a real tight-knit community. So yeah, as someone from London coming into a band in Mount Bridges, and especially after what happened with Jaden, it was I did want to have that confidence, because I did want to present myself in that way, but at the same time yeah, it was nerve-wracking to say the least, and like watching and like listening to videos of Jaden and all of that. He was a Can I swear?
Oh fuck yeah, you can swear.
He was a fucking beast
Yeah,
as of a drummer. And like some of his parts, like there's a one song on our EP that we just released called Toxic, and that was an older song that was written, and like some of the drum parts that Jaden put in there are just fucking mental, man. Like that's one that always kind of gets me.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So yeah, it was so yeah, pretty much exactly what I said or you said earlier. It was a little weird. It was a little tough at the beginning, just like getting comfortable with kind of building this chemistry, but at the same time I think like we worked really well. And
Can I say something?
yeah, what's up?
Yeah, I just have to say on the audition tape, this is pretty cool too. Or not the audition tape, but like, so we had like an original audition. He was great, and then we all talked afterwards. And Jed had gone home. And we're like, yeah, we gotta have this guy back, and hopefully he wants to come back. And he eventually comes back for it was either the second one or third one. I don't know how many practices we
I
had.
think it was maybe the second one.
Okay, it's probably the
Oh,
second.
are you gonna say what I think you're gonna say?
Yeah, and then it's just like kind of like we're all sitting there like, dude, you're really great. And there's kind of like a little bit of awkward silence. And so then Jet's confidence kind of spews right through, and he just kind of goes, so am I in or what? And then he kind of just looks at us like this. We're like, oh hell yeah, dude, you're in. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of add that as like a little, yeah, he's a good boy. Yeah, he's really good, and he does my brother proud, but he also puts his own blueprint on the band, which I really much appreciate too. I don't necessarily need my brother to be replaced, but I definitely want Jet to feel like he's a big part of this band too, which he definitely is. So yeah, that's all I'll say. And I'm glad he's putting his own spin on shit. And yeah.
While we're on the subject, I want to add something.
Adding.
So yeah, there's like a lot of really good talent in London and like Southwestern Ontario. I mean, Southern Ontario as a whole right now. But like a good drummer is hard to come by for sure. Like a really, really good drummer. And the amount of like compliments our band gets on just Jet is like actually really, it's not, and I'm kind of joking, but like genuinely he is like really impressive, and like it's a blessing that he came to us at the time that he did, and it's really great.
Oh guys, come on.
Oh, one more. Yeah, and one more thing. Just like ever since he's joined the band, like I've never seen somebody put so much effort into something, and like he's done so much for us, whether that's like pushing it out to people and like or coming up with songs, because not only does he drum, he's actually a phenomenal guitar player. Yeah. And like sometimes he makes guitar parts that I don't even know how to play. And so it's actually kind of helps me in a way, and like learn, like get better at certain things that I haven't actually developed yet in my guitar playing. And I don't know, it's just been a great experience ever since he's joined, and I'm just grateful that he was there when we needed him. Love you, man.
Thanks for bringing me in.
Yeah.
God damn. So basically Jet is like that last superhero that comes and joins a team that just rounds it out completely. Even
Absolutely.
More so with the fact that you're playing, you can play guitar too, and you're even helping out Sam as well, grow as a guitar player, help him out, and help the band grow overall. One thing that you did mention though was, especially with being from London, being from a much larger city in Southern Ontario versus Mount Bridges, which is smaller, smaller towns have more of those tight-knit communities, like you said. So a lot more people know each other. A lot more people are a lot more closely connected with one another. So if a lot of people from there are connected with No Exceptions, and all of a sudden you're coming in, there might be a little bit of like is this going to be good? Is it going to be bad? But there's going to be hesitation, and it's just based on what people are, but what the setup is for the community, what the setup is for the culture. It's the same way when bands replace a member that's been there for quite a long time, that is connected with them. It's going to happen with Slipknot right now, with everything that's going on after they let go of Jay Weinberg. There's so much that happens in there, so there's expectations. But the fact that you're able to come in there with confidence, even after the band has awkward sounds, and you just blatantly just say, so I'm in the band or what? Like that kind of confidence, that kind of vibrato, just stands out so much. And just seeing how you guys are just connected about the energy you guys had telling that story, that's where the chemistry really comes into play. And you need that as a band in order to be successful, because you can have four of the greatest players in the world, four of the greatest vocalist, greatest guitar player, greatest drummer, greatest bassist, everything about that. But if you guys don't have the chemistry and don't get along, then the music is not going to be nearly as good as it could be, because one part's always going to be clashing with another. Someone's always going to be clashing with somebody else sonically, when it comes to musical conception, when it comes to musical composition, everything around there. There's going to be clashes. But if you have the chemistry like you guys have, then things flow. Then things really start to grow. And people pick up on that energy and want to become fans of the band even more than they already are.
Right on.
Yeah, that's good. It's good stuff. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's like kind of been a big focus of our band, has just been like the connection between us, making sure that we are friends at the end of the day. And like, it's not about like the money we're making, it's not about the attention we're getting. It's just about the music and the time we're spending together. And as long as we're enjoying what we're making and it sounds good to us, like we're just having a good time at this point.
I've found something to say now. I think definitely like with our band is like what Sam was saying. Like we really know how to have fun. Like every band practice, we're always rocking out. Like we're playing in front of 60,000 people. We have like these LED lights that like we always put on. It's like, no, it's light time. We got to put them on like every practice. And they're synced to like what people say. So sometimes like the music stops, we're talking, it'll flash like nuts, but like we just leave it anyways because like screw it. And another good thing is that we do is we always
practice monkey time.
Yeah, we always practice monkey time. That's what we call it.
Yeah, practice. It's not called band practice. It's called monkey time.
and it should be. And the good what do you call it when you do something over and over again, like a
repetition?
No, like like a I don't know. Kind of like we always we always watch Meat Canyon at the end of every band practice. Like it's like,
do you know Meat Canyon?
Yeah, it's like a ritual.
I don't, but it just sounds like something funny. I mean, the name is Meat Canyon. Like there's gotta be something funny about it.
Watch at your own risk.
Yeah, it's like
I don't even know how to describe
it. Grotesque, weird skit-based animations from this YouTube channel. Like really grotesque and kind of scarring, but it's like weird dark humor. I don't know. It's just something to laugh at and kind of just make everybody. It's like what the fuck did we just watch? And
it's like so insanely. It's like so insanely fucked up, but it's so funny at the same time. It's just like that kind of vibe. We're weird.
Well, I mean, when it comes to YouTube, one of the first videos I ever watched as a kid on YouTube was Charlie the Unicorn, so I've got a pretty good base for something like this.
Oh man, yeah. I could recite Candy Mountain for you right now.
Fucking do it. I want to hear it, man. I got to hear this now. I'm putting you on the spot.
Do it.
I don't know the whole thing, actually. I should.
Oh, no.
Okay. When you're down and looking for some cheering up, just head on your way to the Candy Mountain Cave. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm sorry. I actually lost it, but. Candy Mountain, Charlie. Yeah, okay.
Charlie. We're on a bridge, Charlie.
What about Smosh making a comeback though?
Oh
yeah.
That put a big smile on my face. I was a huge Smosh kid growing up.
Yeah.
And then when Anthony left, I was heartbroken. And then when he came back, just all that joy came back. And I can finally be happy.
Yeah, because when they finally came back, it's like, yeah, we bought we have our channel back, we bought it back, and now we're gonna be doing a lot of the same stuff that we used to beforehand. I was like, okay, let's see what happens. But of course, I watched this stuff when I was like 11, 12 years old, so a little bit like, I'm not sure if I'd be in this. Then recently I saw I did Food Battle 2023. I'm like, already, I'm back into this shit. Like, that's all I needed was Food Battle.
Just watch the new Food Battle. Have you guys seen it?
No,
I haven't yet. No.
Do it.
All right.
It's so good. It's so good. One of the best food battles.
Just if you think that blank can beat a pink frosted sprinkle donut, then you're going down. I forgot what Anthony had as his food for this time. I watched it literally like a week ago, and now I can't even remember what it is.
He had a baguette.
It was the baguette. I keep thinking.
Yeah.
I always remember him having the taquitos.
Oh, the taquitos were great.
That was like the first or second one they ever did.
I can't remember any of them.
I just microwave my taquitos.
Great input.
Thank you, Tommy. Thank you.
Great input, but of course, kind of bringing it back. Of course, you're around, Monkey Time. You guys are watching Meat Canyon at the end of every single band practice, and you guys keeping the LED lights on and flashing this every time you guys are talking. It just adds so much more fun and just so much more enjoyability to what you're doing. Because when we think about musicians, we think about art is supposed to be expressive. It's supposed to be something that is a part of you. So you want to make sure you're enjoying it. You want to have fun with it, no matter how serious or how insanely silly it is. If you want to go super duper serious, like I'm going to use Architects with the Holy Hell album again, or if you want to go something completely wacky and silly, like anything Electric Callboy has put out since 2020, as long as you're doing it with passion and you enjoy doing it, that's what's going to come across in your music. It's going to come across with quality. It's going to come across with quality in your live performance. And it seems like, especially with the live performances, how you guys have talked about it, how people have reacted to, especially with Jet in the band, you're seeing those dividends pay off. And that all comes from the chemistry you're building together.
It's actually really nice when we're on stage. Like when I joined this band, this was my first band. I had not done like live music before I joined this. And, I was really worried about stage fright, and definitely before I went on stage the first time was like shaken like bad. But weirdly, like once I got up there, I was just with like 3 of my good friends at that point, and like I was able to just kind of be goofy and like play my instrument on stage, and the stage fright went away. And I honestly have not really had issues with it, like playing live. And I really think it's just because we get along so well, and it's like, again, I'm just up there with some buddies like goofing around,
You're definitely right.
Yeah, and like I've been in the band for about 9 years now, and when we first started playing shows, it was definitely a lot more awkward for me, and I was just kind of standing there playing my instrument and then occasionally jumping weirdly or just kind of looking awkward while I'm playing. And it kind of came to like this formation of the band where I really kind of like felt comfortable with everybody and was able to like really be myself on stage to the point where I'm jumping out into the crowd and just doing wild stuff all the time, dressing up as Spider-Man.
Yeah, Sam will mosh with his guitar in the pit. It's great.
Yeah.
Don't tell me he moshed with the guitar in the pit. Now you guys are just making me jealous that I have not seen you guys play live, because moshing's like my thing.
It's great.
Dude, yeah,
dude. He literally rolls around on and off of the stages and like on the ground in front of people. He's like
full on somersaults,
damaging his guitar in the fucking pit. It's great.
Yeah, I damaged my one. It's a ESP Snakebite guitar. It was like a really limited edition to run. It was like a $2,000 guitar, and then I go roll around with it on pavement and scrape the shit out of the back of the guitar. But I'm like, yeah, it's my guitar, so
Character.
Yeah, it adds character. And of course, just think about this: as the band continues to grow, if all of a sudden the great thing happens where you guys hit it big and make it big, that guitar all of a sudden is going to have a lot more weight to it, a lot more prominence to it, a lot more just intrinsic value to it, where it's, well, how do you know this is Sam's guitar? Well, it's a limited edition, and look at the back of it. It's scraped up to shit. He was rolling around on pavement with this bad boy.
Yeah,
exactly.
Just as long as you do it while wearing a Spider-Man costume, that's what matters. But it has to be like, if you got Tommy, getting bit by a radioactive spider, if he's got the red and blue on, I need you to be looking like with that black venomous style Spider-Man costume, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 3, while having someone else up on stage doing the Tobey Maguire dance.
Oh,
You gotta say
it's hilarious you say that.
Yeah,
that's so
I do
funny
have
you
the
say
Tobey
that.
Maguire suit. I don't have the Venom one, but I have the Tobey Maguire suit. Actually, just a huge Tobey Maguire, like the Sam Raimi films, like a huge fan of those. Like me and Drew.
I think all of us really. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, all of us, but like probably talk about that for hours.
I gotta say.
And our Halloween show this year, we did all dress up. Me, Tommy, and Sam all dressed up as 3 different Spider-Man costumes. and then Jet dressed up as a hot dog.
No,
so
no,
it was-
no, no. Not a hot dog, a New York styled hot dog. That's what it was.
He's Spider Dog.
But because we also thought it would be funnier rather than all of us dressing up as Spider-Man to just be like, why is that guy in a hot dog costume? You know, it's like it just adds something else.
The only way it would have been better is if instead of a hot dog, it should have been Jet dressed up as a pig, so he could have been Spider Pig from The Simpsons.
Oh,
Spider
God.
Pig,
I'm
Spider
not
Pig
gonna-
does whatever a Spider Pig does. Can he sling from a web? No, he can't.
No.
He is a pig. Look out!
Here
He
comes
is
the
a spider pig.
Can I just say a side note? Do you have any idea how hard it is to drum in a hot dog suit?
You should have been the pizza.
Man, it's like all I don't even know what the material is, but it just gets so hot in there,
Yeah.
and it's harder to be a bit more like mobile. Cause like I play a lot of like double kick and some stuff that like I try to like not try to make it overly complicated, but like I try to, just like be as creative as possible with my drumming. So like sorry, I went off on a little thing there. But
I thought it was.
point is, doing that kind of stuff in the hot dog suit is not easy. Not at all. Like I'm completely okay with doing that just once a year.
Well, Halloween only comes once a year, so.
Yeah, so you never know. Instead of a hot dog, next time maybe he's just, maybe you guys just go all It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, dress up as different characters, and at that point in time, Jet just goes as Charlie Kelly as Green Man.
That was
It was in this, yeah.
yeah. The Always Sunny was definitely in talks for one of the costumes.
Spider-Man beat out
Meta.
this year, but yeah.
You know what?
Maybe next year.
I think we should go as Teletubbies next year. I think that'd be
Fuck no. Dude, I
think
hate
that's good.
Teletubbies.
I think that would be very hot also, Teletubbies.
I think
Yeah,
that'd be worse than the hot dog.
Yeah.
but I don't need to jump.
Fair.
Shut up.
Or you just gotta dress up in any of those suits that have like the little fans in them that blow up. So one of you guys could be just like big giant blow up sumo. One of you guys could be in the dinosaur suit. Someone could just be a blow up style of it, like the genie from Aladdin. I've seen a bunch of them. There's a lot of things to go. Plus, then you get the fan in there to cool you off on the inside.
Oh
That'd be
yeah,
nice, that'd be
true.
nice.
Did you see Will Ramos from Lorna Shore dressed up as a blow up sumo wrestler for their Halloween show?
Yep. We even had we had someone at at the show that I went to for when Polaris was here in the United States. One of my friends, he showed up in a big giant blow up baby suit.
Yeah.
That suit lasted maybe 30 seconds.
Yeah. I don't see that doing well in the pit.
Nope, no, it does not. And I know for like one show, my friends want to all do like, we got to do like a onesie day. I'm like, I'm not sure if I can do onesie day. I do have the Green Man suit though, so I would definitely have to go with that. Problem though is I can't zip it up all the way because then my face is blocked and I can't see anything. And that's
Yeah.
when I might accidentally hit someone I probably shouldn't hit.
Yeah.
Hey, they came to a metal show. They know what they're in for.
You think they would, but that's not always the case. On a different note, though, of course, today we were recording this is the day you released your brand new EP, To Whom It May Concern. So I kind of want to go a little bit into that. So when it came to this EP, when it came to the idea behind it, when it came to the creation of it, how did this all come to be? You guys told one great origin story about the band. Now let's do it with the EP.
Well, the EP was definitely like I'm just speaking for myself. Obviously, we all kind of went through a lot of stuff, like losing a bandmate's one thing, but also losing, like, my brother was big too, right? So he was quite an inspiration to the band, and like a thing that I kind of learned to do was just kind of accept the feeling and just kind of, and just in general in life, like you try to avoid being sad or maybe avoid being mad. And I think I've come to realize that it's probably better just to accept those feelings because we're all human anyways. And, like if you're just, you don't always have to be okay. And that kind of it's good advice that I've kind of learned just recently, sometimes you're just not having a good day and that's quite okay. And sometimes you just need to let shit out and that kind of thing. So I think this EP for me, at least, is just a big picture of just what my life was at that time. And it was just like a big fuck you to life in a weird way, you know. It's just like enough's enough, and you know, so this goes out to whom it may concern, and we're gonna start off with a bang, and we're gonna, you know, my whole purpose was trying to make my brother proud, which I think we definitely did for me at least. So, you know, I think he would have been proud of something like this that we put out, and he always loved the heavy shit, like he loved that kind of thing. So, kind of went a little bit heavier for this one, and I think he definitely would have been proud. So, yeah, just from my words to your audience, you know, if you're ever going through some shit, just accept it, and we're all human, and sometimes you just gotta let it out, you know. So don't be afraid to not be okay. That's my kind of message, you know. We're here for you. You crank out our shit, you crank it out to 11, you listen to it, and you scream in your car if you need to let it all out, and then when you're all calmed down, you know, you go out for some sushi. I guess that's but that's what it means to me, at least. I don't know who wants to go next, but
I'll say kind of just, I guess, more on like necessarily the history of like the songs. Like a lot of the songs have existed for years at this point in some form or another. Like there's a song Toxic on the EP, the last song on the EP, and it years ago was called Talk Bitch. Was the actual name of it, and like it was fairly similar, but it was just a little like, you know, angry music's good, but it felt sometimes weird to just like be shouting at people talk bitch sometimes. So like it got workshopped over the years and is now in its form of Toxic, and it still has like the same themes to it. It's just like a little more easy to the ear, I guess. And I mean, like, yeah, Jaden had written actually a lot of stuff that ended up on this EP, which was important to us as well. Like he was very talented, and we just tried to do what we could to kind of honor that in hopefully these songs again. I think hopefully we would have done him proud, but yeah, but we're just like super grateful to finally have these songs out into the world. Like they were a long time coming, so it's like weight off our shoulders almost to be like, holy crap, other people can finally listen to these songs.
finally.
And so Jaden actually wrote the main riff to Twisting of the Knife. Twisting of the Knife.
Twisting of the knife.
Twisting the Knife. And we never actually made it into like a complete version of the song before he passed away, and we were able to finish that song and put it out in the world for him. And I'm just really proud of all the guys here and like what we did in the past year, because it was a lot of work, but like we all were just working our asses off, and we got where we were at the end, and now we're seeing the results, and it's really nice to see. And just, we appreciate everybody that's been there for us since the start and that's joining us now, and I hope you join the ride and enjoy it.
Yeah, I'll touch on a little bit of that too. Like because the only thing that I had to go off of when I was like still kind of in like the audition process per se was the first EP had like a way more of like a pop punk sound, so kind of like Sum 41 Green Day kind of feel. And so then when I showed up to the first practice, they're showing me like a few of the other songs, and I was like, what the fuck, these are so much heavier. And then so I mean, I love the heavy shit too. Like I'm a huge metalcore guy and all that stuff. So I was already hyped, and that got me even like more hyped to kind of like get stuff kind of going. So yeah, like same thing, like the messages in the song, yeah, resonate with me quite a bit. And I'm happy to, because I practice a lot of like metal drums, and so I'm happy that I'm able to bring kind of my portion to this album.
Yeah.
Or EP, I mean.
Yeah, I'll say because for me, it's like listening through the EP, it's when you said, you know, like the older stuff had more pop punk flavor to it, think, you know, like said Sum 41. This EP definitely has more of a heavier flavor to it. Take the pop out of the punk. There's a lot more of this punk rock flavor to it, but with an addition of some sort of like maybe some more modern metalcore, maybe mixed with some 2000s rock flow at the exact same time as well, to create more of this comprehensive sound that has a little bit more of a heavier backing and a little bit more of this consistent flow and potential catch in some of these choruses that's easier to latch onto, that just allow the message you guys are trying to put out there to, stand out and just be able to be consumed by whoever's listening and really let them to get into the song and enjoy. Now, of course, Tommy, what you said when you're talking about the idea behind it with everything you're going through and how it's just kind of like a lot like being okay to feel those emotions because life isn't always going to be good. And sometimes you can't control the fact that, bad times are going to come through, or sometimes you're just not feeling it, or sometimes you're feeling angry, sometimes you're feeling sad. And instead of trying to control those things and just put on a certain face, it's letting those things happen, letting those feelings be felt and not holding them back in. That's something that can be really prominent and something that can really help out a lot of people, because there's so many times in life where as humans, we try and we worry about so many things that we can't control. So why put so much more stress on us and worry about them, even from our own feelings as well? Because we never know when those moments of grief are just going to come through and hit us. We never know when those moments of anger, those moments of depression, those moments of sadness are going to come through. But on the flip side, when we have those moments of happiness come through, those moments of joy, those moments of just excitement, we just tend to ride those and just enjoy those. We don't try and control those. So why should we try and limit or control when you feel those other emotions? Because it's okay to not feel okay. Life is not perfect. Humans are not perfect. So that's always what's going to happen. Plus, the fact that you're able to have your brother still be a huge part of this EP, being able to take a lot of stuff that he had written, it still kind of has that flavor to it. So it's like the last piece that you can put out musically for him that was directly from him, you have in this EP as well to really still connect him to the band, connect his legacy to the band, and still have his legacy connected to the band going forward. And I had no idea that was the case. And oddly enough, I am wearing a We Came as Romans shirt right now. How insane is that on the connection piece? Goddamn. And then I've got the We Came as Romans banner in the back too. What the hell, guys?
I don't know. I guess it's just fate, man. I guess it's just the way it's supposed to be, dude.
It is a fate that we cannot escape. There's another name drop right there just for some random reason. I can't help it. If I'm going to find something funky just to put in there just as some weird random connection piece, it just makes sense. But just all the fact that just comes in through here, it helps you guys create an EP that has more of this comprehensive look for the band. It has more of this expansion for you guys as well going forward. So more fans can get in you. The people that already listen to you, the people that already love No Exceptions, can still feel your brother's presence in there, but also still see where the progression is going forward, where his legacies continue to be honored, and where you guys can grow from here and continue to get bigger and bigger and just grow your music, grow your artistic talent, and let the ambition continue to flow throughout that.
Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes I'm a loss at words, to be honest. So
That was very well spoken. Yeah.
yeah, thank you very much.
Hey, I can't help it. If I'm listening to something and I like it and I feel for it, you know what? I'm just going to go roll with it and see what happens. Because if you listen, especially for me, it was the one that stuck out to me the most was Table's Turn, which is probably the first song, I believe, on the EP. That was the one that stuck out to me, having more of that. When I listened to it, it was, I'm really getting into the more instrumentals from what you guys were putting down on this one specifically. Because when I saw that there was a huge punk rock flavor to it, I mean, I'm not going to lie, I'm a big punk rock guy too. I love metalcore and I love hard rock and I love a lot of this stuff, but it's weird where it's you look at my top 10 favorite bands right now of all time, there's so many metalcore bands and so many more modern stuff in there. It's well, why is my favorite one still a punk band that has been up there for half of my life? Because it's good. And when I'm listening through this, I'm seeing that there's still some of that, roughness around the edges that punk needs, that punk has to have some more of that aggressive tendencies out there. But it still continues to flow from one spot to the next, like on Table's Turn, with the vocal style, with the guitar progressions, with those drum patterns, with some of those fills as well, with how the snare sounds specifically. That was one thing that stood out to me the most on that song, because it added that little bit more of that roughness to it, but it wasn't where it was sloppy rough. It was rough to bring more forward some of that aggressive tendencies that really brought out the message of the song a lot clearer.
Yeah. That again, yeah, kind of same thing. Yeah, that was Tables Turned is that's a fun one. That's one that also kind of sometimes kills me occasionally. But that snare, when we were recording that song, we recorded at this recording studio in London called EMAC.
Shout out.
And shout out EMAC.
Shout
Shout out Rob Nation.
Shout out Rob Nation.
Yeah, so we were recording that song, and then I think because we did maybe like 4 or 5 takes of like each song kind of thing. And I think this was like maybe second or third take when we were doing Tables Turn. We were like midway through. It was like such a fantastic take on everybody's part. And I don't know about you guys, but in that one, I was thinking like, oh, I think like this might be the one. Like, I don't want to jinx it. And then I jinxed it. And then my kick pedal went right through my kick drum.
That's right, yeah.
And then I was like almost like, because when you're recording, you're like, you know, like hyper focusing, making sure you're not like fucking up. But I was like close to being like, I'm in the zone. I'm gonna like start headbanging and shit. And then like I can't, like my kick pedal's not working. And then I looked down and I was like, oh fuck. And then everyone's like rocking. I was like, I'm so sorry, guys. I just broke my drum set.
Your snare is definitely known for its character, though. It's got some good character.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
Thank you.
It's got
loud
good
and brash.
It's fucking
Yeah, it's
short, tight.
I do like the I really tried hard to recreate the Avenged Sevenfold City of Evil snare at some point. It doesn't quite sound like that on the album, but when like just the way that I tune it on my own time, I just try to get like that really high sounder. Or are you familiar with the August Burns Red album Constellations?
Of course.
Hell yeah, dude. The sound of the drum sound on that album specifically was like, I just want my drums to sound like that.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Fucking Matt.
I mean, that's fair. I mean, it's freaking August Burns Red and it's Consolation. It's probably their best album according to every one of their fans. It's like the consensus best album, so kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's either Constellations or Messengers when you talk about EDR with their fans.
Yep, even though like for me, it's I kind of like some more like because I didn't really start jumping into AVR until like 2019, so it was Guardians was the one that really kind of stuck out to me just because that was the one that was like my first like actual like album release kind of following AVR. So that's always personal for me a little bit. But yeah, Messengers, Constellations are always the ones that people are talking about. I tend to see a little bit more on Constellations and Messengers, though. I see more on Messengers with the specific songs, but as a whole, I tend to see more on Constellations being like that more prime focus on there. However, when it comes to just breaking drums and kind of having that character on there, I oddly can relate to that because when I was like between the ages like 10 and 14, I actually was playing the drums at that point in time. Of course, learning in like school bands and whatnot. Yeah, they did not like me because I tended to break a lot of drum heads because I like to play really, 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 really loud. And I would tend to accidentally overpower everybody. I'm like, why aren't they playing loud? They're playing too soft.
Yeah, that's it with drummers. I bought a new crash cymbal today, and I think this is the first time I've had 2 intact crash cymbals since like July. The last practice that we had, I broke my cymbal into like fucking 8 different pieces.
What kind of crash cymbals do you use?
I use Sabian. Yeah, AAX.
Not sponsored.
Yeah.
Hashtag not sponsored.
Hashtag not sponsored. ... Yet.
Yeah.
Hey man, if it's somewhere, you guys are using a lot of different pieces, a lot of different equipment, and all of a sudden you guys are putting through the ringer, and it's like, well, yeah, it might be breaking us, but it's because we're really testing out, we're really making sure that it sounds good, and we just like to play heavy, we just like to play loud, we like to play fast, and this is what happens. So if you guys want to sponsor us and help us out a little bit, or partner with us.
I spend too much money on cymbals.
we would love some free cymbals over here. I mean, heck, just send one my way too. Do I play the drums anymore? No, but could a sponsor get me back into it?
Hey, you're onto something there.
I'm onto something. I'm thinking about something, and it's possibly going to really work out. Maybe not, but you know what? We'll see what happens. Now that, of course, the EP has been out for less than 24 hours, I got to ask, what have you seen as the initial response on this EP? From social media, from comments that you've gotten, what has been the response so far?
It's been sweet. I mean, you can only see so much in the first day, but like the London scene is like phenomenal. Everybody's great in it. There's so much talented bands, and a lot of them have been like graciously sharing our stuff and like telling us what they like the best. And I mean, not only bands too, like other just people have been, sharing our stuff to their stories and seemingly being very positive about it. We haven't heard much bad things yet, but I feel like people wouldn't be as vocal about that right off the bat. I don't know.
I just want to. I'll just add to this point. Like, I guess yes, it is very important to get feedback from other people, but I think also us four feel very strongly that we put out a good EP that we all like.
Hell yeah.
So I will say, no matter like, I mean, I'm not gonna be one to never take feedback. I think it's always good to get a second set of opinions or whatnot. But
Fuck the haters, dude.
yeah, but honestly, us like when it was said and done, and I went in my car and I cranked it and I drove, and it's a good quote from The Rocker. Actually, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, but he's like, like if you can play your music and you can crank it and you can roll down the windows and you can feel like you're on top of the world, then you're onto something. And like, I did that. I did like the little test and I felt like I was on top of the world, man. So I think, obviously feedback and all of the support's always really great too, right? So, but again, to the feedback, you will obviously get some feedback and for the future, but I think as long as us four are all kind of happy and, proud of the product that we put out, then at the end of the day, that's all that fucking matters. So.
I actually have to have one more point on that.
Yeah.
I did have to work this morning, and one of the older ladies that I work with told me she didn't like the music, but she was proud of me anyway. So I got that negative feedback.
Hey, if that's the only negative feedback you've gotten, I'm proud of you, but I don't like the music you put out. If it's not her style of music, though, then it makes sense. I mean, there's a lot of times where I listen to music and it's just like people are like, oh, yeah, this is good. And I'm like, this is not good to me, but this is the reason why. And you have to understand the context behind it. I'll always explain the context behind why I don't like something. And if it's somewhere, it's just not a genre of music I really connect with, so it's harder for me to like it. Okay, makes sense. But if you're hearing, especially, it is tough to gauge after just like not even one full day. But just seeing the fact that you guys are getting positive interactions, not only from people, but from your local scene as well, from the Southern Ontario scene, that helps out a lot because I've been interviewing a lot of different bands from the Canadian hardcore scene, specifically from Ontario. And it's when the local scenes get behind local bands and help build them up, that's when something truly special happens. That's when you get these pockets of areas where bands start to just really rise up, the quality gets there, and they start getting to be noticed around the world because the local scene is helping make sure that happens. They're the amplifier, they're the megaphone for you guys. So if the local scene is helping you guys out, if people in the local scene and other bands, other fans are posting about this, are sharing the stories, are sharing your music with everybody else, that is a great sign that you guys are doing something. And regardless of if it was, if it's in the end, if it's going to be ranked high or ranked low, the fact that you guys are the ones that enjoy it though, I always think I'd much rather have bands make music that is for themselves and potentially maybe isn't commercially as successful, but makes them happy versus giving us exactly what we wanted and then hating it and then they never make music again. Because this is your life. This is your music. Why should we limit your creativity?
Damn. On the good points. Yeah, I think London's a very special scene, that's for sure. We got like a lot of great local bands, and I think like we're all trying to just make it to the same point. Like if any London band that we've ever played with got said, hey, this is your chance, you want to do this for a living and all this shit, I think any single one of them would say yes. And so I think it's you're not ever gonna make it on your own. So I think any help you can kind of get from any other band, you're gonna have to take. So I think, so shout out to all the other great London local bands. We love you.
So many.
Yeah, the London scene is sick.
Too many to name, but we love you all.
So many.
I have a lot of them on my vocal warm-up list, which I will not name. but I crank out a lot of your music during my vocal warm-up / pump up music set list. So shout out to those London bands, and you know who you are.
Well, now that gives me a great idea because especially towards the end of podcasts, I love to ask this question, and this leads perfectly into this. I love to give a chance for you guys, for the bands I have on the podcast, to give recommendations and give support to bands that they like, that are on their level, that they are loving, that are in their local scene, wherever it may be that they love. So I'm going to ask each of you, because there's 4 of you, so one from each of you. Give me 4 bands that you guys are fans of, that you guys love, that you want to get more support to. Shout them out right now. I want to hear them. They can be from the London scene. They can be from the Canadian scene overall, from the Ontario scene. They can be from scenes around the world. Doesn't matter. But go.
Okay, this is a hard one.
I know it's hard because I'm only giving you one when you could probably give like 10 or 11.
Just go. I don't want to take, because I know which ones you guys are probably gonna say.
We'll say the one.
I'm just gonna go for it. I'm gonna say Polluted. I guess they're a great London local band, and they're all really nice guys, and they put on a hell of a show, and they go hard.
So good.
And they're fun, and they're nice guys, and they're always like, like when you release the EP, they like got messages from them saying like, hey, holy shit, dude, just wanted to let you know the EP kicks absolute ass, and we cannot wait to be there tomorrow to watch this EP show. So they're nice guys. So that's all I'll say.
Their music's sick too.
Oh yeah, their music is I don't know. Like I can deal with anybody's music. Not saying I don't, because I love their music too. But if they're nice guys, that's my basis of things. If they're nice to me, I'm gonna be nice and respectful to them. So, and they definitely are. And the music also kicks absolute ass.
They were my number 1 on Spotify this year.
See, that's why I don't want to take your. But anyways, you want to go?
Give it that way.
You go that way.
I mean, I was gonna say Polluted too, but I'll do a different one. There's this really dope band in Windsor called Blood Wolf Moon.
Oh yeah.
That's they're super sick. I don't even know what I would call them. Like it's like progressive, jazz, metalcore.
Yeah.
Basically every genre into one. They're so sick.
What's that one cover they do?
Tommy the Cat by Primus.
Oh yeah, they do that Primus cover.
Yeah.
Tommy the Cat. And it's wicked. And they it's just 3 of them, and their bass player, he has like a fucking 6 or 7 string bass or some shit like
that. And occasionally a synthesizer.
And occasionally a synthesizer in front of him. We played a couple shows with them when they came up to London, and like he'll do like some crazy like bass tapping shit, and it literally looks like he's like playing piano.
Yeah.
Like that guy is crazy.
He's crazy. He's nuts.
But yeah, no, but like the whole band too. Like the drummer is sick, the guitarist is sick, and then like, is there a lead vocalist, or do they just like go?
I think they
just alternate, don't they? Because the drummer also sings too.
Yeah.
Like all 3 of them.
And the bassist does like guttural shit too, like deep, heavy growls.
Yeah.
His warm up in that mirror for that show that we did was crazy. He's going like that. I'm like, oh my god, are you gonna be okay, dude? Yeah.
That's my recommendation. Blood Wolf Moon.
I bet you can guess who I'm gonna say.
He's gonna say Lovers.
Yes, I'm gonna say Lovers. If Polluted was taken from me, Lovers is equally just as fantastic. And Blood Wolf Moon. Lovers is like, God, how do I describe Lovers? Like, I don't know, punk noise, jam, psychedelic band, kind of like a little bit of improv sometimes, like that is just like really fucking crazy.
They're like the Red Hot Jalapeno Peppers.
Sure.
That's what they're like.
Yeah, Adam, their guitarist, is like got insane stage presence. Like, just he like has this harmonica mic that he plugs into his pedal board, and will like while he's playing guitar pick it up and just like drop to his knees and just do the most like emotional screams into it, and then like whip the mic onto the ground, and just like I'm like, I don't know how it doesn't break every time he does that. But I've seen him like cover his white guitar in blood from his fingers as he's playing, like insane. Their bassist Thomas is like insane, and he has insane stage presence. Their drummer Will is like so locked in with all of the shit that they do to keep him on his toes, and it's like it's just such an impressive act to watch. They're really good.
And since I'm last and everybody took all my answers, actually it's a smaller band, and I think they've just kind of formed not too long ago. $40 Henny.
Oh yeah.
I've seen them at a couple shows and talked to them. They're really cool guys, especially the the singer guitarist. I think his name's Brent.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah, Brendan.
Brendan, yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure if it was Brandon or Brendan. I had to get it. Sorry, Brendan. Anyways, really cool guys. They play like really hard rock, punk rock,
And blues at the same time.
blues at the same time, like ripping guitar solos. He plays the guitar in the back of his neck, and drummer's crazy in that band too. All together they put on a great live show, and yeah, I love seeing those guys.
If you couldn't tell, there's a lot of genre bending in London.
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
you're never gonna find a band in London that's just like strictly one genre.
Oh, for all their songs? No.
No.
No, it's like it'll go from one genre to the next, like
Yeah,
every couple songs with like every band in London. London's weird.
that is true.
I
Very
love
true.
it.
Hey, keep London weird with the music, because more genre bending, it just makes more creativity and just brings more insanity into this into your scene and into the scene worldwide as well. So that's what we need. As we're running low on time, I want to thank you guys for being on the podcast, but I'm going to end this with 3 specific things. Normally, just because we're on time, I ask you guys to promote everyone to promote, plug you down to plug, but I'm just going to do it for you guys. So the brand new EP, To Whom It May Concern, from No Exceptions, is available now for you guys to go check out, stream, listen to. Also, you're going to want to catch and play a live show if you have not already, or if you're in the London area and Ontario, you're going to be like, yeah, I got to go do this. So here's what you're going to do to make sure you listen to the music, go check them out, and follow them on all their like platforms so you don't miss out on anything from No Exceptions. Go to the script for the podcast where it says Find No Exceptions online. I'm being your personal Google. Links and labels for everything are going to be down there. So if you don't follow them, if you don't stream them, if you don't listen to them, if you don't go see a live show, I will be mad and I will come for you. I will come for you. Oh, yeah. Now it's time for number 2. Gentlemen, when I have guests on the podcast, I enjoy the podcast. I tend to make a certain promise, and the promise is this. When I get to see you perform live for the first time, it's going to happen. We just don't know day or time yet. But when it is, I'm going to go all Liam Neeson on your ass. I will look for you. I will pursue you. I will find you. I will say hi. And first round's on me.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
The rest are on me.
Exactly. So as we're bringing this podcast conclusion, I cannot end this by saying goodbye because, guys, this was a hell of a lot of fun. I want to have you guys back on the podcast again in the future, and I made you a promise, and I'm going to keep that promise. So is this goodbye? Fuck no, this is not goodbye. This is, I'll see you later.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, man.
Appreciate you.
Woo! Well, folks, that was my interview with the guys from No Exceptions, and now it's time for Kevin's final thought. Their chemistry is just absolutely wild, and just how they were able to take the death of Tommy's brother and just make sure that his memory and his legacy was maintained within the band with this new EP, and with their drummer Jet honoring that and having the mindset behind that allows this band to just grow and grow and grow, and it's something we should really support. And you're seeing that support happen within the Canadian scene as well from this EP, and it just shows the importance of how important, you know, your local scene is. And how great it is when so many bands get behind a band and rally behind them. It just, rising tide raises all ships, baby. And I think that's the best way to put it, honestly. Plus, when it comes to the chemistry of the band, something I'll never forget from this episode either. Before we started, they sang me happy birthday. I asked them how the hell they knew it was my birthday the next day. And they're like, we watched a bunch of your episodes. We saw you mention, we decided to sing you happy birthday. That's something I'm never going to forget. That was way too cool. So I want to thank them for that. This is a band you should definitely check out. So go straight for the podcast where it says Find No Exceptions online. Links and labels for everything are going to be down there so you can check out To Whom It May Concern, check out the band, and make sure you go see them perform live and support them. Also, make sure you're supporting us. Link straight to the podcast below to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button here on YouTube to subscribe to the podcast, or hit the follow button on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or Amazon. New episodes every single Tuesday and Thursday, and on YouTube, the Friday reactions. Like the episode as well to help push in the algorithm. And that's it for today, guys. Thank you for watching and listening to the Chord Progression Podcast. My name is Kevin, and you guys know how I end every single one. That was a big, healthy, and hearty. See ya!